like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon.
Students, so in the previous videos we have learnt about the polymers, then we have also learned about different types of polymers and different ways of classification of polymers. So in the last video we have learnt about the addition polymers and condensation polymers. Along with that we have also seen the process of addition polymerization and the process of condensation polymerization. Now we move on to the next type of classification, that is polymers on the basis of the molecular forces. So let's proceed. That is classification of polymers on the basis of the molecular forces. Now all these polymers, they have a unique property or the unique mechanical properties. So the polymers, they possess the certain unique mechanical properties. Now when we talk about mechanical properties, what does this mean by mechanical properties? Obviously something to be dealing with the strength of the polymers. Okay, so these mechanical properties, they may be the tensile strength, that is the tensile strength of different polymers will be different, then elasticity, toughness. And all these properties, these are dependent on the intermolecular forces. Intermolecular forces. Now these, suppose if intermolecular forces are very strong, these properties will be very strong, that the polymers will be having the high tensile strength, high elasticity and high toughness. If the intermolecular forces will be weak, then the polymers will be having the weak tensile strength, weak elasticity, and it will not be tough. It will not be very much tough. Okay, now these intermolecular forces, it can be due to various reasons, the various types of bonds, which are various types of chemical bonds. So that can be either due to hydrogen bonding, that is intermolecular forces, it is maybe due to hydrogen bonding, or it may be due to dipole interactions. That is when two poles are there, how do those compound having the two poles, how do they interact with each other? That is depending on the strength between the two dipoles. So intermolecular forces are further dependent on these parameters. That is, it may be due to hydrogen bonding, it may be due to dipole interactions. Now depending on all these properties, so this means what? Mechanical forces means these are the properties on which the polymers, they can be classified further. So depending on these properties, we have the different types of polymers. The first one, I cannot write all of them all together because there is no space, so let us just go through them one by one. So first one, we have the elastomers. Elastomers. Now elastomers, these are the polymers having the weakest intermolecular forces. Weakest intermolecular forces. So if the intermolecular forces are weakest, which may be due to any of these reasons, obviously all these parameters will also be weak, that is low tensile strength, low elasticity and so on. So they have the weakest intermolecular forces. Now let us show you how exactly these elastomers, that is they have been formed. Look here, the structure we see, we can say that is, suppose now this is the structure of an elastomer. So here we find that these are the coiled polymeric chains. Coiled polymeric chains. These chains are coiled, these are the coiled polymeric chains. And it can be stretched. So when it has been stretched, you will get the form, that is the structure will change. look here, or let me just show you over here the same so look here, this is a coiled structure. When you stretch it, it becomes a stretched, you can say this is a stretched polymer, stretched elastomer, and this is a unstretched elastomer. Now these are the cross links. These are the cross links. Now these cross links, it helps the polymer to come back to its original, we can say to come back to its original position on release of, as the strain has been released, this polymers will come back to its original position. So these cross links, basically the cross links are adding little bit of strength to these polymers, if we say. So if you just stretch it, the coil structure will become straight, and there are the cross links which are introduced over here. These cross links are, if you release the strain, again it will get coiled. So these cross links helps the polymer to come back to its original position. At the same time, if it has been stretched, again if the cross links are there, these are also adding a bit of strength to it, so it also helps in the stretching also. If there wouldn't have been the cross links, then the stretching and again leaving, that is retracing of the polymer to its original place would have been difficult. So we can say that this is what, on release of strain, on stretch it is changing to this, and this again it goes back to its original position on release of the strain. So here certain examples of the elastomers, these are the natural rubber. So examples of elastomers: natural rubber, then polyisoprene, which is also for this form of rubber only with certain chemical variations or modifications into it. Then polybutadiene, silicone elastomers, so all these are the various examples of elastomers. So I hope you understand that what exactly are the elastomers. Not so obviously they are the weakest, these elastomers are the polymers having the weak intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains, and these you can see the polymeric chains are being coiled. When we stretch it, we will find that it gets stretched, and when you release the strain, again it gets coiled in the same way. These are the cross links, and the cross links helps in coming back of the retracing of the polymer to its original place. So this was the first type of polymer on the basis of the molecular forces. Next type of polymer, so let me rub the board for this. Is the fibers. So based on the molecular forces, the next type of polymers is the fibers. So fibers, they have strong intermolecular forces. They have strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains. Between the polymeric chains. Now, I hope you understand what are the polymeric chains. That is a polymer having various links, various chains which are being joined together. So when there are strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains, such type of the polymers, we call them as the fibers. So these intermolecular forces, they may be due to intermolecular forces over here also, they may be due to hydrogen bonding. They may be due to hydrogen bonding, or they are due to dipole-dipole interactions. They can have both these, either they can have hydrogen bonding as well as they can also have dipole-dipole interactions, or they can have any one. But the intermolecular forces will be stronger. The previous one was that is elastomers have the weakest intermolecular force, but the fibers, they have the strong intermolecular forces between the polymeric chains. Then let us come to the characteristics of the fibers. That is, if the intermolecular forces are strong, what will happen to various parameters? Right in the very beginning I told you, the intermolecular forces are very strong. They will be having the high elasticity, they will be very tough, and they will be having the high tensile strength, high melting point. But if the intermolecular forces will be weak, obviously they will be having all these parameters. That is, the melting point will be low, then low tensile strength. So let's come to the characteristics of these fibers. So they will be having the high tensile strength, so high tensile strength will be more, high modules. Now what is high modules? If you consider what is high module, suppose you consider any type of a polymer, any polymer, and if it is in the form of the like those are the polymers, they may be the long chains. So if there is great stiffness, longitudinally, that is, if there is great stiffness longitudinally, or there is great stiffness which acts along the longitude of, or towards the length, or great stiffness along the length, that will be the better word, along the length of the polymer. That is the chain of the polymer that will be very much stiff. But in spite of being stiff, you will be able to fold it. That is, along the fiber, that is, they will be flexible. Although it's very stiff, but even then there will be some flexibility. So much of the flexibility that you will be able to fold that structure. So it will, now why it will be flexible? That is, it will be flexible because the diameter is very less, because of the flexible, because of a very less diameter, or we can say because of their small diameter. Now how much is the diameter? That is round about 10 microns. So you can imagine, if the diameter is 10 microns, obviously the diameter is very less. So what does it mean? If a polymeric chain is stiff along the length, but in spite of being very stiff, it does not mean that you will not be able to like fold it. You will be able to fold it. You will be use it in various ways by folding it. So why you will be able to fold it? That is because it is flexible. Why it is very flexible? Because of the small diameter. And the diameter can be as small, as low as your 10 microns. So these become, so this is with the meaning of the high modules. If the modules is very high, the polymeric chain will be very stiff, and at the same time will be very flexible. So they will be, these fibers, they will be having the high tensile strength, they will be having the high flexibility. Now due to strong intermolecular forces, they are having the strong intermolecular forces. So because of this, they will help us, that is, they will lead to close packing. Strong intermolecular forces leads to close packing of the polymeric chains. that is these chains will be able to closely pack. So because if they are been able to closely packed, obviously they will be having the crystalline structure. This will lead to close packing. You studied in the solid state also. If the packing is very good, it can lead to the crystalline structure. So the polymeric chains can be closely packed, which will lead to the crystalline structure. Okay, it will lead to the crystalline structure, or we can say they will be crystalline in nature. Crystalline in nature. So if they are crystalline in nature, obviously they will be having some melting point. So we can say they have the sharp melting point. Sharp melting point. Sharp melting point means what? Suppose there are certain compounds, when we try to find out the melting point, when there's a particular process of finding out the melting point. So when we try to find out the melting point, it becomes very difficult to find out that is exactly at what temperature the substance is melting, because they do not have a, suppose if a substance, let's take a particular substance, let's the name of the substance be B, and if we want to find out the melting point, you will not be able to recognize whether the substance is melting at 110 degrees or whether the substance has been melting at 112 degrees. Like with your eyes, the things becomes difficult to identify. So there are such type of substances, when you are not been able to find out the exact melting point, we say that the substances are not having the sharp melting point. That means they are not having the proper their crystal structure, they are not properly crystalline in nature. They may be the amorphous substances, or their nature may be amorphous, but here these are crystalline in nature. As they are crystalline in nature, they will be having the sharp melting point. So example of such type of polymer, that is example of fibers, we come to an example that is a very common example. We have already studied about this, that is nylon 66. Nylon. Now what is nylon 66? If you remember, nylon 66 is a polyamide. Why do we call it as a polyamide? Because it is having the chains of the amide group, that is NH2 group. All these NH2, they have been joining together. So it's a polyamide. And this nylon 66, it is having the high tensile strength, and high modules. I hope it's clear when I say high modules. What does it mean? That is a chain of a polymer which is very stiff, and along with being very stiff, it will be flexible. You will be able to fold it for your purpose, for your use. It is not, and it has to be very stiff, due to which it cannot be broken very easily. That means very hard also, stiff also, very strong. But along with the strength, and along with the so you can say the strength, you will be able to fold it. It will be flexible. So that's a good quality of it. It's a good type of it. It is a polymer having a good quality. All these are very much, all these points, all these characteristics are very much useful for a polymer. So with this we complete with the this type of polymer, that is the fibers. We come to the next type of polymers. That is a thermoplastics. So this is a third type of polymer. Thermoplastics, our third type of polymer based on the molecular forces, that is thermoplastic. So the intermolecular forces in this thermoplastics, intermolecular forces are intermediate, that is lie between the fibers as well as the elastomers. That is, they will be more stronger as compared, the intermolecular forces will be more strong, or intermolecular forces will be more as compared to elastomers, but less as compared to the fibers. So the intermolecular forces are intermediate, or intermolecular forces of attraction are intermediate or intermediary between elastomers and fibers. Okay. So next we have the so all these first of all, before I proceed further, let me tell you these are very important, very important, very important with respect to your examination point of view. You will find several examinations, the questions based on thermoplastics as well as the thermosetting plastics. So from this particular part is very, very important, extremely important. Thermoplastic, either it may be asked as a definition or certain questions based on thermoplastics, or it may be asked as a distinction between the thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. So, okay, so the intermolecular force of attraction are intermediate between the elastomers and the fibers. Now, these are the linear polymers, and they will be having no cross links. No cross links. As I've shown you, in case of elastomers, there was cross links, but in this type of, that is thermoplastics, there are no cross links. Then at room temperature, they are hard. At room temperature, they are hard. When we heat them, that is, if you heat them moderately, if you heat them to certain temperature, if you heat, when heated, so we can say when heated due to moderate intermolecular forces, it is between the elastomers and the fibers. So we can say the intermolecular forces are moderate when heated due to moderate intermolecular forces. Due to moderate intermolecular forces, that is, intermolecular forces are between the elastomers and the fibers. Therefore, when you heat it, they will soften on heating. When you cool them, again they will harden. And as there are no cross links, because there are no cross links, you should know the reason why it happens. Because there are no cross links, this heating, making it soft, again cooling it, making it harder, that is giving it a different shape, it can be done again and again, that is repeatedly, it can be molded. That is, because there are no cross links, repeatedly it can be molded. Can be molded. That is, once suppose if you have given a particular shape, a particular structure, it is existing in a particular shape and a particular structure, what you will do, you will heat it. When you heat it, it will soften, it will melt. Again, you put it into a mold and you let it cool down, and if it will take a particular shape and it gets hardened on cooling. Again, suppose if you want to change the shape, what you will do, again you heat it, again it will soften, it will melt, and again you put in another mold, giving it, if you want to give another shape, so again again you put in another mold and you let it cool down, the shape of the thermoplastic will change. I remember that when I was a child, we were not having too many toys. We were like only some 1 or 2 toys we were having. Probably we were not having anything to play. So what we, that is myself, I have done it my own self. That is me as a child. We used and along with my other children from the family, we used to collect those polythene bags. And after collecting those polythene bags, that is many polythene bags, we used to heat them. That is, from far away we used to subject it to heating, either with the help of a candle or near to, in the olden days we used to have that chulha and all, that is that for burning. So we used to heat those polythene bags, and after heating it, when it used to cool on heating, they used to those polythene bags used to soften, and when it used to start cooling down, we used to mold it with our hands in the shape of a ball, because we were not having the ball. And then when it used to, and when we, after giving a particular shape, we used to cool it, we used to leave it for some time. When it used to cool down completely, we used to get a ball out of those polythene bags, those waste polythene bags, and that we used to use for playing. So that was our own ball that we had created, we used to create of our own self. So such type of substances we call them as the thermoplastics over here. So here examples of such type of substances, one example I already gave you, that is the polythene bags which I said we used to collect. So that is polythene, then polypropylene, PVC, that is polyvinyl chloride, Teflon, etc. All these are the examples of the thermoplastics. If we represent it diagrammatically, we can show this, or in the end, after completion of the thermoplastics, I will show you the difference between the thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. Now these, in order to increase the workability of these thermoplastics, we use certain organic substances, organic compounds are being used, which are called as the plasticizers. Plasticizers. That is, you are heating it, you are softening it, again you are cooling it and giving it a particular shape, again it can be heated, again it can be cooled, and it can be molded into another shape. So to increase that property, we are using certain organic compounds, those are called as the plasticizers. So plasticizers, these are for increasing the workability, of thermoplastics. That is, the thermoplastics, they can be made better by by addition of plasticizers at the low temperature. Workability of the thermoplastics at comparatively lower temperatures. That is, at lower temperature you can soften it, otherwise you need to heat it for a longer time in order to soften it, so the process may become difficult. So we add plasticizers which will soften at the lower temperature, and the workability will be increased. So here they help in the molding process. That is, they help to soften, and they make the molding easy, and make the molding easy. Now for example, that is PVC. PVC is extremely tough. So in order to soften it, you need to heat it to a very high temperature. So instead of heating it to a very high temperature, what we do is we add a plasticizer, that is an organic compound which is called as dibutyl phthalate. We add dibutyl phthalate, which is an organic compound which makes it soft. Dibutyl phthalate will make this soft, will make it soft and in the working condition and easily moldable. That is PVC, which is very tough. When you heat it, you need to heat it at a very high temperature. But instead of that, if you are adding a plasticizer, so I am writing down over here plasticizer. Plasticizer, that is example of plasticizer, dibutyl phthalate. What will it do? It will make the PVC soft and it will make the process of molding very easily. That is, it will be easily moldable by addition of dibutyl phthalate. So with this we complete with the thermoplastic. We have the next type of our polymer, which is also equally important. Thermoplastics, thermosetting plastics. Thermosetting plastics. So this is our fourth type of the polymer based on the molecular forces. So the polymers which when so thermosetting plastics, when on, like in case of thermoplastics, when you heat it, you cool it, again it can be molded and remolded. But in case of the difference between the thermosetting plastic and thermoplastics, the basic difference is what? Thermoplastics, when you heat it, they are, once again, when you heat it, it will soften, and you put it into a mold, you give it a particular shape. Once a shape has been given, it cools down, it cannot be again remolded. That is, this process, it cannot be continued again and again, it cannot be done again and again repeatedly, this cannot be done. So which on heating change irreversibly. So thermosetting plastics are the ones which are the polymers, we can say, are the polymers which on heating change irreversibly. Change irreversibly into hard and rigid structure. Into hard, rigid and infusible, that is infusible material. Excuse me, I think the ink is getting over. Let me use another marker pen. Now how these are been prepared? That is, you take it has been prepared by heating low molecular mass semi-fluid. So it is obtained by, or prepared by, or synthesized by heating a low molecular mass semi-fluid polymer in a mold. That is, you take the polymer, which is that is basically, it's a low molecular mass polymer. So what we do, that is it exists when you are heating it, it becomes semi polymer, and the chemicals are such inside this, the compounds are such inside this, that they will be, the molecular mass will be low. So this basically, when it is a low molecular mass semi fluid polymer, which when you put into a mold, it can be given a particular shape. Once it has been given a particular shape, again the shape, it cannot be changed. That is, it is the process of heating and cooling, all this is a irreversible process. So we can say it can be prepared by heating low molecular mass semi fluid polymer in a mold. Now on heating, it hardens. When heated, what happens? It will become first soft, and then when you cool it again, it will hardens. So when heated, first it will become soft, you put it into a mold, and then you cool it, you leave it for some time, and again hardens. It hardens, and why does this happens? It is due to, that is, this process that takes, or we can say due to extensive cross-linking. Due to extensive cross-links between the polymeric chains. Okay. Now, and what happens once it takes a proper structure, it creates a 3D network of bonds. Once this happens, it will create a 3D network of bonds between the polymeric chains. That is, if you see the polymeric chains, you will find that the bonds will be in a 3D network to whole throughout this thermosetting plastics, whole throughout this type of the polymer, and all this is happening because of the extensive cross-links. That is, many cross-links have been there. What in case of the thermoplastics? In case of the thermoplastics, this does not happen because they do not, thermoplastics, they have got no cross-links. if you remember what some time back which I have taught you, that is thermoplastics, they have got no cross links, and because they do not have any cross links, we'll find that they will not be having a 3D network of the bonds. There is various types of bonds getting connected from all these sides. When you say the 3D network of the bonds, that means many bonds connected, many bonds you can see from all these sides. Extensive bonding will be there. Too much of bonding. In easy language, we can say too much of bonding will be there. A 3D network or many bonds will be formed. But in case of thermoplastics, this bonding will be less. If you see the network of the bonds, bonding will be less because there are no cross links. So in this case, that is due to extensive cross links between the polymeric chains, it will give rise to a 3D network of the bonds between the polymeric chains. Then so we can say this is a rigid structure. If we say compare it, we'll find because there are so many bonds, obviously this is going to form a rigid structure. A rigid structure will be formed, and once the structure has been formed, again you cannot heat it and soften it and remold it. So it is permanent forever. You cannot, like the polythene bag I said no, we used to make it into a ball. Again when you heat it, again it will melt. But this is not going to happen in case of the thermosetting plastics. So we can say it attains a rigid structure. It cannot be reprocessed. It cannot be reprocessed. Clear? Examples of such type of thermosetting plastics is bakelite, or the chemical name of the bakelite is phenol formaldehyde resin. Phenol formaldehyde resin, and the common name is also bakelite. Another example of this is a melamine formaldehyde resin. You have those serving utensils, no? Those plates made up of melamine. Okay, so that is in the market we just call them as a melamine material, but it's basically melamine formaldehyde resin. So we have completed this thermosetting plastics. And extremely important in the examination. Most of the times if you see the papers, they ask about the differences between the thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. So let's come to the differences between the thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. Next we have the differences between both of them, that is both thermosetting plastics and thermoplastics and the thermosetting plastics. So differences. So we write down over here thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics. Okay, so for first point over here, so they can be, that is this, the thermoplastics, they can be prepared by, can be synthesized by addition polymerization. By addition polymerization. So obviously these can be prepared by condensation polymerization. By, I am not writing down the full sentence over here, just in short I am writing down by condensation polymerization. Then next they have the low thermoplastics have low melting point. Low melting point. And they have high melting point. So obviously their tensile strength is less, that is thermoplastics have low tensile strength and these ones they have high tensile strength. Okay, then these can be reprocessed and remolded repeatedly, can be reprocessed or remolded. Repeatedly, but these cannot be reprocessed, cannot be reprocessed or remolded repeatedly. Then in this case, that is, they have no cross links. That is, the thermoplastics, they have no cross links. No cross links, or you can write down that is cross links are absent. Have no cross links or cross links are absent, and these ones they have cross links. Cross links between the polymeric chains, that is, they have no cross links between the polymeric chains. But they have the cross links between the polymeric chains. Now, structure, that is flow chart wise, this can be represented. So I'll be needing some space, so I'm just you just go through it, and then I'll rub the last points from here. Then I'll just show you how we can represent in the form of a flow chart. Okay, so let me just rub it off. I need this space for drawing the flow chart over here for both of them. So if we represent, that is in case of the thermosetting plastic, if we represent it in this way, that is heating, when we heat it, it will soften. Okay, then again you cool it, it will harden permanently. So we can say hardens permanently. So this is one short cycle. The cycle stops over here. It will not proceed further. But in case of the other one, that is the thermoplastics, look here, we can just represent it in this way, that is on heating, it will soften. On cooling, again you cool it, it will harden. And again on heating, again it will soften, again you cool it, again it will harden. So this can be, this is not a one shot cycle, but this can be done repeatedly. So this can be done, or we can say cycle continues. Okay, this is one short cycle, and over here the cycle, it continues over here. And make sure that you learn the differences between thermoplastics and thermosetting plastics, because these are asked repeatedly in many exams. If you see the question papers, you will see that the differences between both of them been asked again and again. It has been asked for 2 marks, 3 marks, so accordingly you learn them carefully. So with this we complete with the classification of the polymers. Thank you, students.